I will never sell all of my Beam. Now, some people may think I'm crazy for saying this, but I don't think it's crazy at all because even though nothing I say is financial advice, here's the way I take a look at it. For instance, you take a look at Cardano's native token called ADA. At one point, the price was hovering around 3 cents. It was doing pretty much caca, right? Then suddenly, it reached the price of $1, $2, and even beyond that in 2021, had a big pullback after the bull run was over, of course. But then, did it ever reach the price of 3 cents ever again? No. As a matter of fact, as of right now, ADA is over the price of $1. Now, again, even before the price of ADA pumped, it never went back to the price of 3 cents. Also, take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin at one point was at the price of $1. If let's say this bull run is over, can Bitcoin ever go back to the price of $1 ever again? Let alone like even 10,000, I think absolutely not. So when it comes to Beam, I think the levels in which we're seeing it as of right now, I think we could very well never see it again, hypothetically, after this bull run is even over. Let's say Beam goes to the price of $1, has a pullback. I don't think we could see these prices ever again, which is why I'm still staying patient when it comes to Beam. And again, maybe even never below the price of 10 cents ever. Who knows? And now, am I saying that I'm never going to be selling any Beam? That'd be crazy if I said that, right? Because of course there needs to be a point where I exit, but I'm never going to be exiting completely because I do believe that Beam has a very bright long-term future. During this bull run in the short term, in the medium term, I would say reaching $1 is my price prediction. But I think after this bull run is over, maybe it could stabilize around 10 cents. And I think, it's going to be around for multiple cycles to come. But that's why I'm never going to be selling all of my Beam because I do believe that it has a great long-term future. And when I see a project like this, I do believe that the fundamentals, they're up there. And projects that do have good fundamentals that aren't reliant on fans or hype, they have a very bright long-term future. And I do believe that Beam is going to be around for the long haul. And even if you take a look at the fundamentals of Beam, it really does put pretty much 99% of the projects out there to shame. I think it really does because if you actually take a look at it, Beam, it's an open source blockchain specialized for gaming. Now, gaming may not have the best hype as of right now, but I do believe that when it comes to, blockchain gaming, the future potential is very fantastic. Even this market, right, is predicted to be worth over $300 billion by 2030, according to Grandview Research. It's not going to be the biggest market out there, in my opinion, but if you take a look at just traditional gaming, if you remove the blockchain aspect of it, that's massive. And I think it's only fair to assume that moving forward, people are going to gravitate towards blockchain gaming because, for instance, right, if you take a look at play-to-earn games, just as an example, why do people like it so much? Because traditionally, when people play video games, unless they're a streamer or something like that, how are they going to be able to monetize their gameplay? You know what I mean? But let's say through play-to-earn games, at least they have the potential to, earn by playing games. Now, that's only hypothetical, and some people may think that, oh yeah, the blockchain games that are out there right now, they're not fun enough to, warrant even playing. And I can't say I really disagree with that in most cases because a lot of blockchain games out there, they are complete caca, but keep in mind, we're still in the beginning. Imagine 5 years later, 10 years later, once blockchain gaming becomes a lot more developed, I don't see why this won't be the next big thing because a lot of people out there, they're paying $70 or something crazy like that to play Batman, and how are they going to be able to earn from that? The average individual who plays that, they're not going to be able to monetize their gameplay. However, if you take a look at play-to-earn games, by playing games, if they can actually earn income hypothetically or potentially, gaming at that point won't really be considered a waste of time anymore. At least that's the way I view it. Now, we have to take a look at Beam as well, right? More specifically, we take a look at, one of the main components of Beam is the Beam Software Development Kit. Now, this is SDK for short, again, Software Development Kit. But this allows game developers to choose from a variety of tools that can be used to fuel and structure their in-game blockchain elements. So that's pretty interesting. And, Beam, even though it has this big focus towards gaming, it actually has other aspects as well. And, it may not be the most interesting, but in my opinion, it is very impressive nonetheless because, for instance, you take a look at the Beam Block Explorer, a tracking platform for all Beam transactions and statistics. You take a look at, the Beam OS, which is a portal for exploring tools and apps on the chain. Now, we also take a look at Sphere, which is an NFT marketplace. NFTs, I get it. They're not really that hot as of right now, but if you actually take a look at it, even yet again, according to Grandview Research, the NFT market is predicted to be worth over $200 billion by 2030. Again, not the biggest, but you know what? it's pretty decent. And of course, when I'm referring to Sphere here, I'm not talking about the Las Vegas Sphere. This one is pretty cool. Some say arguably as cool as the Las Vegas Sphere. That's debatable though, but yeah, besides that point, we take a look at the Beam Layer 0 bridge, which is a bridging solution to transfer tokens between Beam and other blockchains. And last but not least, we have the Beam Swap, which is a decentralized exchange. Is this decentralized exchange going to defeat like a Uniswap, like an Aerodrome, or like a Pancake Swap? I think absolutely not. Now, you may be thinking, okay, why would I say that? Well, because I say it how it is, and this is just my opinion, right? I don't think this is going to be like the next big decentralized exchange, but it's a good addition nonetheless when it comes to Beam, and I don't mind because I do believe that, when you consider the overall package of Beam, when you consider how diverse it is, it's very fantastic. And the thing about Beam is the fact that it's not like too simple as a project, but then it's not too overly complicated. Like, in my opinion, it's so easy to understand what Beam does, what it's really focused on. Just to keep it simple, if we remove all of these aspects of Beam, basically Beam is focused on blockchain gaming. And I think that's very easy to understand hypothetically. But even besides that point, we have to consider the amazing nature of Beam, because what launched, or should I say like created Beam in the first place, that's something called the Merit Circle DAO. Now, Merit Circle, the amazing thing about it is that it is a DAO. Now, a DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization. That's what it stands for. Like if you actually spell it out, it's like DAO. But even besides that point, why is a DAO so amazing? It's because, quite essentially, right, it's even been stated that it's an entity that is designed to be fully autonomous without a central point of control. So you got to imagine that. That's pretty much as decentralized as it gets. Sometimes people like to complain, oh, this project's too centralized. Oh, this other one's way too centralized, all this, right? But Beam, it's pretty much as decentralized as it gets, in my opinion. Not to mention as well, the rules of a DAO are established by a core team of committee members and is executed through smart contracts. And to obtain voting power or membership in a DAO, users are usually required to own its governance token. And in this case, anyone who does hold Beam can vote. So yeah, I think it's a pretty good overall package nonetheless. And when you have a bull run potentially being this amazing, $1 doesn't really seem even that difficult in my opinion. If we take a look at the short term, right? You take a look at Charles Hoskinson, who is not only the co-founder of Ethereum, but the founder of Cardano. He predicts that in the next 12 to 24 months, based on a video on November 26th that he was a part of, he could very well see Bitcoin reaching anywhere the price of $250,000. So that's $250,000 all the way up to $500,000, $500,000. I mean, can you imagine that? If Bitcoin, let's say, even reaches his worst case prediction, 250,000, at that point, $1 for Beam will seem like easy peasy or so easy in my opinion. Yeah, that's a little bit like a play on words, but even besides that point, $1 really isn't crazy, because if it were to go to that price, considering current circulating supply, market cap would only be around $50 billion. Now, that's only around a 26x from here, but if you consider how much Beam has done, in terms of its pump, which I predicted, by the way, doing an additional 26x, I don't think is that bad. We saw Dogecoin reach over 80 billion. We saw BNB reach over 100 billion. I think around 50 billion really doesn't seem that difficult. And again, as the old saying goes, a high tide raises all ships. If Bitcoin does reach 250,000, which all signs are hypothetically showcasing that it could very well do that, could you imagine what happens to altcoins and also Beam? The sky's the limit, and $1 at that point really wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. I think Beam is that special, and I think this born could be that amazing, which is why I'm still accumulating Beam on a consistent basis, holding and just waiting, because I think better days are ahead. And make sure to subscribe if you gained value from this video. I greatly appreciate it. It's Winnie the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.